Hi, I'm going to explore a little inquiry into what constitutes a leader. We could even say a leader worth following. And this does imply a great deal of selectiveness on the part of one following or one even partnering or collaborating. This particular model of leadership that I'm about to speak about, it doesn't actually require that there's one leader and a bunch of followers. There can be actual leadership from a number of individuals who all have their own participation or their own leadership within the context of a cooperative leadership. So let me say just really superficially that leadership just means innovation in the really simplest sense, something distinct from what else is going on or what else has been going on. Particularly an innovation that eventually becomes very popular. Pretty simple definition of leadership, right? So I recently wrote and uploaded a song that has a reference to a few different qualities of historical leadership: money, fame, titles, strength, like physical strength. So I want to comment on those, as these are important qualities of leadership when I talk about something distinct from all of those. But let's start with those: physical strength, as well as just physical beauty. Like, physical beauty is attractive. Physical strength also allows for, accomplishments and activities that otherwise would be impossible or slow. So there's the speed and it's even things like height. So physical qualities, we could say more generally: strength, height, flexibility, coordination, beauty. We could say even health, to be really broad. So these are all valuable things, right? And from strength, we associate then people who have strength can get more resources, whether that's gathering berries because they have a lot of endurance, or can see very clearly and aren't challenged by exposure to harsh, weather. So they can gather a lot of stuff, or they can hunt very well, or they can gather things that are very valuable, whether that's firewood or axes and stone and flint and gems and crystals and computers and fences and computers. Humor is related to the primary quality of leadership that I'll get to ultimately, but not yet. So from strength, people can have money and other kinds of resources. Some of the money they get, they might inherit from their family, from whatever other means of inheritance. So we have things like titles of nobility, like a prince just inherits their title because their father is a king. How they got to be king might be through physical strength, through war and trade, and any number of means. Maybe the king also simply inherited through that person's father or grandfather and so forth, a dynasty of kings, right? So we have history, we have strength and other physical qualities, we have money and wealth in general, we have Fame, just somebody who's especially well liked, but well known. Um, People who are on television or whose name is famous, even if they weren't on television, like Johnny Appleseed. Um, so it could be through the media, it could be through just prominence. Maybe that person is a former general or a former champion of something, like Muhammad Ali is a famous name, even though he's not. Throughout his life, after he had become famous, well, he was still famous. He became famous because of his sports um, career and performance within sports. But fame has its own association with leadership. We pay attention to people who are famous. So we pay attention to people who currently have money, or maybe even used to have a lot of money, who have titles, whether those are things like prince or things that are more, we could say, more earned, like doctor or lawyer or professor or teacher. It could be job titles like senior claims representative or chief executive officer or chairman, right? All of those are titles. Very broadly, we could say mom and dad and aunt and uncle and grandpa, grandma, judge, um, officer, sales clerk. Those are all titles. I also mentioned the song game, people who have game. By that I simply mean charisma. That's getting to this distinct quality of leadership. So there's all these other ways of leading that are valuable. When I say titles, competence leads to titles. Like if you have to, in order to become a firefighter, you have to have certain physical standards, and you have to have certain knowledge base. To become a paramedic, you have to have a certain knowledge base and demonstrate certain things. So titles aren't just the titles; they're also, the idea there's a history behind them. There are results, there's performance, there's proof. There's a knowledge base, there's a skill base, not just knowledge, but the capacity to apply it. We could call all that history. So all of those things of history are valuable. The results somebody's had previously, that is something that we can value when we consider what leadership is and what is trustworthy in leadership. And there's something else. It doesn't require humor or charm or game or charisma, but it's related to those, can be, more so than other stuff. This is part of why an innocent child can actually provide leadership, not because of their accumulated money or fame or title or physical strength, but something in their spirit, some intuition perhaps, but insight is the word that I'm going to emphasize. Insight. So that is the kind of hub of leadership. If we have a group of people where there's physical strength, there's titles, there's material resources like money, there's fame, different people will have different qualities of leadership in these different areas as far as their knowledge base, their history, their humor, and that their the network of people that they know. Kind of goes with fame, but there's a distinct thing of just the network of people that someone knows. That matters. Your connections. That matters in leadership, or at least in certain forms of leadership. But the hub of all those things is insight. It's knowing what is going to be the thing that is valuable in the future. And by valuable, that could be something like knowing that real estate prices are going to go up higher than the prices of most other things, or knowing that the high technology industry within it that you know, certain technologies like cell phones or televisions are going to become dominant. So the first people who find out about these innovations and who recognize the value and the long-term significance of, say, the internet, um, the first people to notice those things, they're leaders, or they could be leaders, because of that insight that they have. It's not just knowledge. It's not just specialized knowledge. It's actually the capacity to see beyond current knowledge and anticipate, forecast, predict accurately. So I could stop there. I'm looking at the time here. Yeah, I think I'll stop there. Some of you know my own history as it relates to that. Some of you don't yet.